Hey everyone, Josh Perry here. And we're back with another Q&A video. Today we have 7 questions that I'm going to answer, and I'm going to do my best to give as much value and precise information as I can. So with that being said, so 2 websites that come to mind are ketogenic.com and ketonutrition.org. My good friend Dr. Ryan Lowry runs ketogenic.com, so much information there. And then Dr. Dom D'Agostino's website is ketonutrition.org, and there's an immense amount of information, both simple and complex, and they distill it down very easily for us to understand and apply. So those are the 2 websites. Now, books, there's so many, but Dr. Ryan Lowry and Dr. Jacob Wilson wrote the Ketogenic Bible. That's got a ton of information on keto and brain health. But then also Dr. David Perlmutter's book, Grain Brain. It was the first book I ever read about brain health, nutrition, and was aware of the ketogenic diet and lifestyle. That book brought a ton of awareness to me of blood sugar, ketones, and brain health and performance. So those would be the books. But then also you got people like Dr. Daniel Amen, who's got a bunch of books, and his website is a great resource as well. And then let's see, Dr. Joe Dispenza, a lot about the mindset and the brain as a whole. I would recommend just starting there and just seeing where you branch off. That's a good place to start. That's kind of where I've been diving in more and more, is all those people's research and resources. And beyond that, they have podcasts they've been on. So you have a lot of information available to you there. The resources are going to be the same ones I just mentioned, but also to the second part, how do we bring in a loving manner these resources to their attention? And honestly, that's something that is my challenge that I have to overcome on a regular basis with friends, family, strangers, clients, things like that. There's no one way. There's no easy way. It's something I've been learning about is if you're in a certain emotional state, information that's not equal to that isn't going to enter the brain in a manner that's going to make sense. And that's what my experience was. It took having my life threatened for these things to appeal to me and to make sense. It wasn't that they didn't make sense before. It was just I was in a new emotional state and new perspective of life that it stood out to me to create a urge to want to learn more and apply. So the best piece of advice that I can give anyone, and is what I actively do, is just share my experiences, the benefit I've taken away, the value I've taken away from implementing a lot of the things that I've learned along the way, and just kind of how my experience has been going and where I was before and where I am now. And so that's all I can say is just coming from a loving place, is just share, like, hey, did you know that this does that? And I've been experiencing this and beyond that, and I was here before. So it's just kind of the compare and contrast, different elements of your life and your experiences, along with the information in a non-pushy or judgmental manner as well. But just coming from a place of love and just curiosity, like, hey, did you know this? I've experienced this. Did you want to try it? Things like that. Things like exercise, and really understanding the fine line between over exercising, overtraining, creating too much stress, and learning how to educate myself more but apply more of these I don't like the word balance, but more of an optimized approach to exercise, and things like aerobic training, keeping your heart rate down. You get a lot of oxygen coming in. There's a lot of research that Dr. Perlmutter and Dr. Mark Hyman talk about with BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's like they refer to it as miracle grow for the brain. And being able to be in these aerobic states allows more BDNF production. So that's been one thing. But then also consciousness, awareness, being more mindful, really understanding what I do, what I think, and how I feel, and what triggers either one of them, and how that shows itself in my life and my reality. Overall, I think everything that we do, if it has a focus on how we can reduce stress, reducing stress in any element of our life is going to improve our brain health for multitudes of ways that we're not going to get into in this video, but whether it be diet, it be meditation, it be exercise, it be relationships, spirituality, creativity, education, career, sports or play, things like that, family, friends, anything like that is really becoming conscious of how that may be creating a stress response and how you can alleviate that. Whether it's you showing up differently, you having a different perspective, or you just approaching something in a different manner. At the end of the day, if we can reduce stress, that's going to improve our brain health tremendously. And that's something I've experienced. So specifically for me, following a low carb ketogenic diet and lifestyle, nutrition, that's one. And then for mindset, which is also emotional and chemical, is meditation and reading and learning and really auditing the people I surround myself with and the content I consume, because all of those things trigger a response in the brain that triggers a chemical, which creates an emotion or a feeling, and it just creates a cycle. So really being purposeful in these choices, and then thereafter exercise. Something that I've been really curious about is seeing the shift in the younger generation of wanting to optimize their life and to have a better quality of life and more sustainable life moving forward. And something that I've seen personally with changes I've made is I guess it created a sense of fear from the unknown and, that's not cool or whatever. But then once I started sharing my experiences and what I was seeing change or shift or prevent, then people, the younger generation, started asking questions. And you'll see this of all ages. It's just once you can share your experience and the value and the benefit that you've seen in your life take place, people are going to want to ask, what are you doing? So what's up with, that thing you were talking about the other day that I just blew off? And that just comes back to wherever we are in space and time and how we're emotionally showing up and feeling, we're going to be receptive to different information at different times. So for me, how I'm trying to get younger people interested in this information of prioritizing their brain health is really showing how lack of prioritizing my brain health worked out for me at a young age and why I've shifted to doing the things I'm doing. Because it's easy to be young and we're still growing and developing and not see problems that are visible. But now we can track different things like biomarkers and with medical imaging and brain performance scans and all these different tools that we have to measure how we're aging and how we're developing and performing. I think it's really interesting to talk about. So I'm just trying to share more of the information, more of how I'm applying it and how it's benefiting me in my life. And so that's what I would recommend, with the younger generation is also lead by example. Don't just talk a talk, but walk your talk. Become the change that you want to see. I'm very big about that. We want to see the younger generation do well and make healthier choices that are going to support their vision and their dreams and aspirations. But if we're not walking that talk, if we're not leading by example, how can we expect anyone of any age to take in the information that we're sharing and apply it? So I'm really big about, walking my talk and being that change I want to see and sharing the value along the way as well as my own experience. And hopefully that'll trigger a change of perspective in someone now or later down the road. And that's the best that I can suggest for anyone to do is just, walk your talk, share the value along the way, and just, don't come from a place of judgment or a place of fear yourself. And just, people are going to be receptive at different times to the information. Not to go by my outer appearance, not to go by my cover, not to think of health just externally, but really, think about the choices I'm making and how it's affecting my brain and looking into that a little bit more. I wasn't really interested in that before because on the outside I was fine and I thought I felt fine because my baseline, rose to dealing with, the stress and the feeling like garbage every day, that was my new norm. I didn't know what it felt like to feel great. So I would just, tell myself not to be so closed-minded, actually. That'd be the biggest thing. Just open my mind to new information, new ways of approaching life and prioritizing my brain, because I find that because we can't see our brain, we often dismiss the fact that we could be harming it with one thing or another. And it took hitting my head one day to get an MRI that found on accident a massive brain tumor that was internal and I didn't know because I couldn't see it. And so that's something I would say to my younger self and anyone. It's just really become open-minded to new ways of living and just see, try something out for a little while. Just see if you can, experience the changes and the benefit that come from that. A higher purpose than just weight loss. They may want to remove unwanted or a bunch of unwanted body fat, but the purpose behind that is to feel well, let's say, to have more confidence, to, not feel sick and tired anymore, not to be in pain, want to be able to play with their kids or their friends or show up better in life, to be, able to have more sustainable energy, to recover better, to sleep better, to know they're doing something to prevent any kind of disease risk factors moving forward and to prioritize their health. It's a deeper rooted purpose than just what they say. They know that, by removing this weight or by alleviating this pain, it's going to do so many other things in their life. So having a deeper purpose of why they want to adopt this new change, I think, is the number one thing. And then thereafter, it's just, finding ways to hold themselves accountable, whether that be, a friend or a spouse or a stranger or, a coaching program or, social media, just sharing their journey and what their goals are and sticking to them. I think that's another big thing. And then also just creating more of an understanding, educating themselves on, there's so many free platforms like this video that provides tools and tips and tricks and education for one to apply these things in their life. So I think those are the top three things right there. You got a deeper purpose or why, you have accountability, and then you on a basic level, educate yourself on how to optimize and move forward. What we're able to quantify with brain health now, with so many technologies out there, from WAVI brain performance scans to SPECT imaging to functional MRIs and all these different things, to really see in real time and the past of what damage we've potentially caused and how we can change that and improve the brain and measure that in a quantable manner, in an objective manner, as well as subjective, and I think the more we share these things, what I'm really excited about, I guess, beyond that, is the level of consciousness or awareness from all aspects of life, younger, middle-aged, and older, of how important it is to really audit your choices and how that's potentially affecting your brain one way or another. And if you want to have a good quality of life that's going to be sustainable and you're going to have longevity, then we need to understand what we're doing to our brain and make a choice based on education and understanding moving forward. So I'm really excited about the more ways we're able to show brain health and performance and improve that, and then share it as well. In 1 year, I see more people becoming curious about it. And in 5 years, I see more of the population not regarding it in a weight loss tool or this fad or a trend. With sharing more subjective and objective benefits and improvements in life and sharing more education along the way, I think in 5 years, it's not going to be a question anymore. It's going to be, like what a lot of these researchers, doctors are saying, it's going to be like the optimal way to fuel your brain. And I think it's going to become more accepted. And we're already seeing that with people like Dr. Eric Westman at Duke University and Jeff Volek and Stephen Finney and their board with Verta Health, getting into the medical system and having a holistic way to improve health markers and, overall, goals with health. It's becoming more of a widely accepted way of living. It's just a matter of sharing more information, more education, more clear science, and then, the technology to objectify these performance markers and how we're able to improve more on down the road, I think is really important. All these things. So I think in 5 years, it's just going to become more accepted by the medical system as well, but also the common thinking, the mainstream thinking, is more than just a weight loss tool. Because that's my perspective and my journey. I didn't get into keto for any weight loss benefits. Yeah, I've seen body composition improvements because of doing so, which makes sense once you understand what's going on with burning fat for fuel. But I got into it for the health and the performance, longevity, resilience of my brain. And I think that's going to become a new focus of the ketogenic conversation moving forward. And so with that being said, I appreciate you guys. For those that have watched all this way, appreciate the love and support, appreciate your time. I know time is very valuable. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with a friend that may take away some value from it. If you have any questions about anything we discussed, you want to learn more about any of these topics or myself, put them in the comments below. And yeah, I just appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.